Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something, well, pretty fundamental if you're selling B2B right now. You hear it all the time, don't you? Buyers are doing tons of research online, just browsing, gathering info way before they even think about talking to sales.
Oh, absolutely. It's true. There's that stat you see floating around, like the one from Digital Commerce 360. I think it was their 2024 report, suggesting something like, 70% of B2B buyers actually prefer to buy online before even getting on a sales call?
Wow, 70%.
Yeah. And think about what that means for the traditional sales approach. By the time you finally connect that buyer, they could be way, way down the road decision-wise.
Exactly. And if your sales team is still, stuck in those older methods, that's a huge disconnect. You're trying to start a conversation when they're practically at the finish line. It's a serious gap.
It really is.
But, and this is where it gets interesting, for companies using B2B intent data the right way, that gap, it's actually, it becomes this massive opportunity.
Spot on. Because using those digital signals, it lets you kind of peek behind the curtain, right? You get to understand what a potential customer is actually researching, the solutions they're looking at. And crucially, it gives you the chance to act on that knowledge really fast and really relevantly, often before competitors even know that account is looking.
And that's exactly what we want to do in this deep dive. Let's strip back the layers, really get a handle on what these buyer intent signals are in B2B and how they're just fundamentally changing the game. Empowering sales and marketing to be super targeted, perfectly timed, and just way more effective. Look at how this data helps you find, engage, and ultimately convert those really high-value prospects.
Okay. So fundamentally, what are these signals? What are we actually tracking here?
Yeah, good question.
Well, at its core, B2B buyer intent signals are just measurable behaviors, things people do online that show they might be interested in a product or service like yours. So we're talking about things like specific keyword searches, related to what you offer, viewing certain content on website, not just yours, by the way, downloading white papers, signing up for webinars, attending events. Each little action is like a digital footprint, and it can suggest different levels of intent.
Right, so it's less about just a website visit and more about the trail they leave behind.
Exactly. And why they matter so much right now, it ties right back to that independent research thing we were talking about. Because buyers are doing so much discovery online, often anonymously, before they even think about talking to a sales rep. It makes it really, really hard to jump into that conversation in a meaningful way without these clear behavioral clues. You need some insight into their journey before they talk to you.
Okay, I get it. So instead of just blasting out cold calls and hoping someone's interested, you might actually see, say, a prospect who just spent 15 minutes looking at your competitor's pricing page.
Yeah.
Or downloaded some detailed comparison guide. That changes everything, doesn't it?
It's a much, much stronger signal, absolutely. Those kinds of specific actions, really powerful indicators. And using this data means your marketing can get incredibly targeted, serving up content that speaks exactly to what that prospect is looking at right now. And your sales outreach, it becomes timely, contextual, makes it way more likely to lead to a real productive conversation. It can really speed up the whole deal.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what intent data is and why it's so critical now. But I gather not all this data is the same, right? There are different types, and knowing where it comes from, that's pretty key to using it well. Can you walk us through those?
You're absolutely right. Understanding the origin point, it's fundamental. The source tells you a lot about, reliability, specificity, how you can use it. Typically, you hear about three main types: first-party, second-party, and third-party data.
Okay, let's start with first party. The name kind of implies it's data you collect yourself.
Precisely. First-party intent data is the stuff you gather directly from your own digital properties. So activity on your website, things tracked in your CRM, engagement with your emails, interactions in your marketing automation tools. Think of it as tracking what happens on your home turf.
So if someone downloads our white paper or fills out our demo request form, that's first-party data.
Exactly. Direct interactions with your brand. And because you control the source, it's super reliable, really specific to you. It's incredibly valuable for sales enablement, gives your reps immediate, concrete clues about what a prospect is engaging with on your stuff, helps them understand what that person's wrestling with right now.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Okay.
Then there's second-party data. How's that different? Is it like shared data?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Second-party data is essentially another company's first-party data that they share directly with you. Usually comes from a partnership, maybe a joint event, or like a co-branded campaign. It's almost always permission-based, and you know exactly who collected it.
Right, so it's data from someone else's turf, but they give it to you explicitly. What's the strategic value there compared to our own?
Its main value is extending your view outside your own little digital world, but still within a related context. If you partner with companies targeting a similar audience, or maybe offering things that complement yours, their data, shared as second-party data, lets you see behaviors from potential customers interested in related stuff, helps you reach prospects who might be in market, I haven't found you yet, broadens your view of what your target accounts are up to.
Gotcha. And then the big one, third-party data. That often gets a lot of buzz. Where is that coming from?
So, third-party data is aggregated, pulled together from a really wide, diverse network of external sources. We're talking industry forums, big publisher websites, product review sites, professional networks, all sorts of content platforms. Intent data providers basically collect and analyze buying signals from activity across this huge network. They look for patterns, trends in content consumption around specific business topics or solutions.
So they're watching research behavior happening pretty much all over the internet, related to keywords or topics in your industry.
That's exactly it. They can spot things like, oh, several people from company X are reading articles about, say, supply chain optimization on 3 different industry blogs. Or maybe downloading reports on cybersecurity best practices from a couple of different research firms.
And how is that kind of data useful? What's its sweet spot?
It's especially powerful for finding prospects who are showing serious intent but haven't actually engaged with your brand yet. These behaviors often happen earlier in the buying journey, when people are just identifying a problem or starting to explore solutions before they narrow down vendors. So third-party data is great for finding brand new leads, top-of-funnel stuff, engaging accounts right when they start researching.
That's fascinating. So you've got the really reliable, specific stuff from your own backyard first party, then the shared view into related areas with second party. And in this broad net of third-party data catching signals everywhere else,
Yeah.
it really sounds like layering them gives you a much more complete picture.
It absolutely does. Each type is like a different lens, right? And when you combine them, you get this much richer, sort of multidimensional view of a buyer's journey and their intent. It's like seeing the whole trail of breadcrumbs, not just the ones left on your own doorstep.
All right, understanding the types is step one. Now, let's get into the how. How are companies actually using this data? A big promise is aligning sales and marketing. Does intent data really help bridge that classic gap?
Oh, it's incredibly powerful for that, yeah. Intent data gives both sales and marketing this common objective view of what buyers are actually interested in, like right now.
So it creates a shared reality for them.
Pretty much, yes. That misalignment we always hear about. It often comes from different guesses about what's happening with prospects. Intent signals give you concrete, data-backed insights into what specific accounts or people are researching, what their priorities seem to be. When both teams see that same intelligence, they see what prospects are looking into and why they can coordinate way more effectively. That shared understanding means better targeting, better timing, helps them work together to turn those data points into real sales opportunities.
And for the sales team itself, how does having this data change their day-to-day? Does it mean fewer, like totally cold calls?
It absolutely should mean fewer truly cold calls.
Yeah.
One of the biggest wins is just pure sales enablement. Good intent signals give reps that crucial context they need to personalize their outreach, really personalize it. So instead of generic calls based on, I don't know, just job title or industry, they can use signals, like seeing someone research solutions for a specific compliance issue or engaged with content comparing integration methods. They can tailor their message directly to what that buyer seems to care about right now.
So a rep could actually start a conversation saying something like, hey, notice someone on your team was looking into improving data security compliance. And I thought,
Exactly. It flips the conversation. It becomes about their problems, their research, not just about your product pitch. This kind of intel lets reps replace that generic stuff with timely, relevant conversations that actually hit home. Plus, it helps them anticipate questions, maybe objections, and frame their solution around the specific pain points the buyer is researching. Makes those conversations way more productive, higher chance of engagement.
but just getting the signals isn't enough. Right? You got to turn them into something actionable. How do companies handle all that data coming in?
You're totally right. Raw data alone, not enough. To get real results, companies have to turn those signals into actual insights that drive decisions. Improve targeting, boost conversion rates. Intent data needs to go from just being a report to being like a core part of how sales and marketing operate.
And with potentially tons of signals, how do you figure out who to focus on first, which accounts or leads?
Yeah, that's where intent scoring comes in. It's essential. Because not all signals are equal, right? Not every download means someone's ready to buy now. So businesses set up these scoring models. They rank prospects based on the strength and frequency of their signals, maybe their past behavior too. Visiting a pricing page or asking for a demo, that usually gets a higher score than just reading a blog post. It helps teams quickly see which leads are showing genuinely high value intent so they can prioritize their time and effort where it counts.
Okay, scoring helps prioritize, maybe manually or semi-manually. What about predictive AI? How does that fit in?
So AI tools kind of build on that scoring idea. They use machine learning to look at behaviors across different channels, not just one data type, but patterns across everything you have access to. They use predictive analytics, basically combining historical data from past deals, what worked before, with current behavior patterns. And the AI generates these highly prioritized lists of leads that it predicts are most likely to actually close. It adds a layer of smarts and efficiency to lead prioritization.
Makes perfect sense for sales focus. What about marketing campaigns? How does intent data change what the marketing team does?
For marketing, intent data is huge for creating campaigns that are, well, both super targeted and deeply relevant. By looking at the specific topics an account or person is engaging with, marketing can personalize messaging to match those interests and pain points in ways that old school broad segmentation just can't touch.
Can you give an example? Like from the source material?
Yeah, the source had a good one. Like, if an account is showing a lot of activity around content on, say, compliance risks, maybe reading articles on new regulations, watching webinars on data security, downloading guides, then the marketing campaign for that account can be specifically tweaked to highlight how your product helps with those exact compliance issues. It's about delivering the right message to the right people when they're actively thinking about that specific topic.
And I guess integrating these insights into marketing automation platforms is key to making sure those relevant messages get delivered smoothly.
Exactly. Seamless integration is crucial. It lets these targeted campaigns get triggered automatically as someone moves through their buying journey. Ensures the message supports them at the right stage, from early awareness right through evaluation and decision.
Okay, this is where it really gets practical. Intent data isn't just theory. Companies are using it day in, day out. And it sounds like it impacts more than just finding new leads. It touches prospecting, retention, growing accounts, the whole life cycle.
That's spot on, yeah. A major real-world use case is account-based marketing, ABM. ABM is all about focusing your energy on a specific set of high-value accounts, right? While intent data is critical for doing ABM well, it lets you see buyer intent at the account level. You track the combined research activity, the topic engagement from multiple people within that target account. Gives you a really clear picture of that account's collective interest, their pain points, maybe their urgency.
So you know when a target account starts heating up on topics relevant to you and what those topics are.
Precisely. And that intelligence makes sure your ABM outreach, those personalized emails, targeted ads, specific sales plays isn't just relevant, but it's timed perfectly. Hits them while they're actively researching. It ensures your valuable ABM resources go where they'll actually make a difference. Leads to much better engagement and results from those key accounts.
And you mentioned lead prioritization earlier. That's another huge practical application, isn't it?
It's fundamental. The source really stressed this. In today's world, just relying on static stuff like company size or job title, it's not enough to build a really qualified pipeline. Using intent data lets teams go beyond those basics and proactively spot which leads or accounts are showing actual signs of actively evaluating solutions, like right now.
Which means sales reps can skip a lot of that wasted time on outreach that's just completely cold.
Exactly. They can focus their energy, their time, their conversations on leads already signaling they're in market, often speeds up the whole sales process, moves deals through the funnel faster.
And it's not just for getting new customers. You said it helps with existing ones too. How does that work?
Yeah, this is a really valuable angle, sometimes overlooked. Intent data can give you amazing insights into how an existing customer's needs might be changing. Like if you see a client start researching solutions that complement yours, or maybe looking into new features you offer but they don't have. That digital footprint, it's a strong signal. Maybe new needs, growing requirements, maybe they're ready for an upsell or cross-sell talk.
So your customer success team or account managers, they can proactively reach out with super relevant suggestions. Maybe before the customer even asks.
Yes, exactly. Proactive engagement. Spotting those patterns early lets your team's sales, CS, account managers, whoever, start relevant conversations. They can propose solutions that fit the customer's evolving needs, offer other products that match where they're heading, helps find those upsell, cross-sell opportunities, And honestly, it strengthens the relationship because you're showing you understand their changing world.
Okay, this sounds incredibly powerful.
Mm.
But practically,
Yeah.
how do companies actually get this data, and how do they pick the right provider? I imagine it's a crowded space out there. Not all platforms are created equal, surely.
You're absolutely right. The vendor landscape is definitely varied. Choosing the right one is critical, and it really starts with knowing your own business needs first. What do you want to achieve with this? You need to look for vendors that offer not just raw data, but actionable intelligence and, really importantly, compatibility.
What kind of specifics should you look for?
Well, look for providers with detailed intent topics that are really relevant to your specific solutions and market. Good audience segmentation is key so you can filter down to the accounts or people you actually care about. And crucially, check compatibility with your tech stack. Your CRM, sales enablement tools, marketing automation. If the data can't easily flow into the tools your teams already use, it loses a ton of value.
And how do you know the data itself is any good, reliable, handled ethically?
Oh, that's paramount. The best platforms are transparent about how they source their data, where it comes from, how they collect it. They should also be clear about how their scoring works. And non-negotiables. Robust privacy compliance, especially GDPR and similar regulations. Ideally, look for a provider that can support multiple data types, first, second, and third party, to give you that really deep visibility we talked about.
Integration sounds absolutely critical then. If the data's stuck in some separate dashboard, reps and marketers probably won't use it much.
Absolutely. Data's power just plummets if it's siloed or hard to get to quickly. Look for providers with seamless integration into your core tools. Smooth integration enables things like real-time alerts for leads hitting a score threshold, automatic triggers in your automation platforms, direct updates in your CRM. Makes it way easier for teams to act while the interest is hot. Apply the data right in their normal workflow. Speed of response is everything with intense signals.
So it's not just buying the data, it's making sure your systems can actually use it
Yeah.
quickly and easily.
Precisely. Getting the data is step one. Integrating it and acting on it effectively, that's how you get the ROI.
All right, let's talk about making this actually work day to day. What are the key best practices? Beyond just having the data and a good platform, it sounds like process and habits are just as vital.
Oh, they're fundamental. Absolutely. The most successful teams build really strong habits and processes around how they, interpret signals, collaborate, automate things. The source highlighted several key ones.
What's the first big one?
First, and maybe most important, combine intent signals with your internal CRM and behavioral data. This is so crucial for getting that full picture of the buyer journey. Layering that external intent stuff with your internal info, CRM records, notes from past calls, purchase history, maybe past website behavior before this new intent showed up, it gives you much richer context. Lets you see not just what they're doing now, but how it fits with their past activity, or maybe how it compares to patterns you saw and deals you actually won.
So if an account goes quiet and then suddenly lights up with specific intent, combining that data makes the flag much more meaningful.
Exactly. Like a contact who hasn't done anything in 6 months suddenly starts hitting high-value landing pages or looking at third-party content on a specific solution. Merging that signal with your CRM data paints a really powerful picture, tells you exactly who needs a personalized follow-up, like right now. That integrated view allows for much smarter, better timed engagement.
Okay, makes sense. What's the second key practice?
Second, train your teams on interpreting and acting on signals. Just giving them access isn't enough. Sales and marketing folks need to understand how to read these signals. It's more than just seeing, oh, they downloaded something. It's about understanding the significance based on like how often they're doing things, the data source, first party versus third party matters, the type of content. Both teams need consistent training on whatever scoring model you use so there's no confusion about what makes a lead actionable or high priority based on intent.
Which leads right into number 3, I bet.
It does. Build a shared scoring model across teams. This reinforces the training, and it's absolutely critical for that sales and marketing alignment we talked about. A consistent shared framework for scoring intent means both teams agree on what qualifies a lead, how urgent it is, takes the guesswork out, improves pipeline accuracy because everyone's working off the same signals, focusing on the opportunities the data says are most promising.
Speed matters, you said, especially with live intent. So number 4 must be about acting fast.
Absolutely. Automate workflows for faster action. Speed is just non-negotiable here. You need to set up automated workflows, often in your marketing automation or sales engagement tools, things that trigger alerts for reps or kick off automated marketing actions the instant a prospect's intent score crosses a certain line. This lets you use the data at scale, make sure no hot leads or high-value actions slip through the cracks. Real-time notifications mean your teams can jump on it while interest is peaked.
And the final practice, what's number 5?
Fifth, refine campaigns and processes based on intent signals and outcomes. This is all about learning and getting better, continuous optimization. You need to constantly look at which intent-driven efforts actually lead to closed deals. Analyze the connection between different types of engagement, which signals, which content paths, and the leads that actually convert to revenue. Based on what works best, which signals, which campaigns are most effective, you adjust your strategies, maybe tweak your scoring, refine your campaigns.
So it's a feedback loop. Use the data, act on it, then use the results to get smarter about how you use the data next time.
Precisely. Analyzing performance, looking at lead quality from intent data. It gives you insights to help both sales and marketing know where to focus more effort. Over time, this feedback loop just makes you better and better at using all those different types of intent data, helps you build campaigns that really hit the mark with active buyers.
So bringing it all together, the core message seems really clear. Buyer intent data isn't just like a nice to have anymore. It's becoming pretty essential for B2B companies to focus their, let's face it, limited resources on prospects who are genuinely active, researching solutions, showing real signs they're ready to talk.
Yeah. And when you implement it strategically, it really does align sales and marketing. It enables faster action, much deeper personalization and outreach. And ultimately, it helps teams close more deals by connecting them with the right buyers at exactly the right moment.
The key takeaway here really feels like, in today's B2B world, just having tons of data isn't the win. It's not enough to compete. You absolutely need the right systems, the automation, and a clear strategy to act on that data in real time. The company's pulling ahead. They're the ones turning those fragmented buyer signals into clear, actionable next steps all the way through the funnel, from that first flicker of interest right through to keeping and growing customers.
So, what does all this mean for you listening right now, for your organization? How does understanding and using these digital breadcrumbs really challenge the old ways of doing B2B sales you might be used to? And what potential does this shift really unlock for data-driven growth in your own strategy?
And maybe consider this as a final thought. As buyers keep gaining more and more control over their own research journey online, doing so much before they ever talk to a vendor, how does our ability to accurately spot and react to their scattered digital footprint fundamentally shift that traditional power balance between buyer and seller? And does it force us to completely rethink the seller's role, and maybe even the skills needed to succeed in the future?
Definitely a lot to chew on there. Thanks everyone for joining us for this deep dive into the power of B2B buyer intent data